I put out this article recently. I haven't finished the one about God, but I put out this article about the universe is everything's in the universe. When people are like, "Oh, that's unnatural," but it's like, but it's part of the universe. So how could it not
Yeah.
be natural? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we've talked about this multiple times.
Yeah.
So like, so like, it's almost like the universe is consciousness because we know that everything has some sort of awareness,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the underlying like.
Well, in a way, it makes sense. Universe consciousness, it should make sense because the consciousness is happening within the universe.
For sure. Exactly. Okay. Totally. So like if everything is conscious, and this is the panpsychism philosophy. So like if everything is conscious, we know that the underlying link between everything is consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it's like, okay, well that we know that trees are conscious to some degree because they communicate. We know that animals are conscious because we can communicate with them. And then there's what like Lou Elizondo is saying, which is like, it's not really about aliens, but he was saying that when you look at the dog and yourself, it's almost like two beings acknowledging that there's sentience between them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, oh, you're having an experience. I'm having an experience.
Right.
And he was saying that like with aliens, it could be the same thing. Maybe they're just having an experience like outside, you know, and in their world, and they're just interacting with us.
Mm-hmm.
So like, so one thing that they're talking about is like, can we communicate telepathically? I won't even go down that road, but I'm just saying with consciousness, we'll just stick to consciousness. So if consciousness is the underlying thing that everyone experiences and it's a part of the universe, what if that is that material that's basically the universe realizing itself? It literally is though.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the universe becomes conscious of itself, but consciousness is a part of the universe, then technically the universe is becoming conscious and aware of itself through us.
Right. Yeah.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what if when we go to sleep, we're really just merging back with the universe? It's like you can't stay in this state too long or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like, why do we need to sleep? It makes no sense. If you're telling me it's about health, I'm like, I kind of buy that, but I don't know. It's more cognitive than
I mean,
physiological.
Everyone sleeps, right? That's the
right.
Yeah.
Everything sleeps.
Everything sleeps. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, but why? Is it because that it needs to go back to like consciousness in itself is so hard to maintain?
Is it? Yeah. I was just thinking that. Like, is that the energy that we're using in our brains or consciousness is a lot of usage that it needs the 8-hour sleep to recoup or recharge. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. It's like the power it takes to do all of this is a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm kind of with that theory now, actually, because it's like, what else could it be? It can't be health. It has to be something mental related.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? I think the power of the brain, the amount of energy that it takes
to
experience the universe.
Yeah, to experience. Yes, totally. Because like we don't know if plants. We know plants communicate, so there's consciousness there. But maybe it doesn't, because it doesn't have a brain. It doesn't need as much power to remain conscious.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lower energy output requirement.
Sure. Yeah. But automatically, it's also doing less work when it's nighttime as well.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, fair. Yeah, photosynthesis. It doesn't need to do that.
But that's also another thing too, right? We're more used to sleeping at night when there isn't. Like, it's part of the cycle too.
Yeah, maybe that's when the universe naturally rests.
But it's so weird because we could be evolved to it though. That's another thing.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true as well. Yeah,
because
chicken or the egg.
Yeah, because of the sun. 24 hours. We're following that energy. So the sun's energy, we're awake. When it's gone, technically it should be fully dark, right? So
yeah, facts. I know what you're saying.
It makes you go to sleep.
Okay, but what's crazy about that is back then
but that's not for everyone though. That's for, I would say, most animals. There are nocturnal ones too, which only wake up at night.
Yes. Okay. True.
So
that theory doesn't hold.
Not exactly for everything.
Yeah. Um, but it's weird because like when you look into Eastern philosophies and ancient civilizations and stuff, they knew that they were like in tune with the reality, so they're rising and falling with natural order of things. It's just us who have like night shifts now, you know, that you're
Yeah,
like, oh,
that's
that's
yeah.
really messing us up, dude. Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
funny
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like you know that people like they say like health wise, it's not good to have a night shift or
Mm-hmm.
like break your rhythm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
You're not
because
getting
we
any
need to
sun
follow.
and then all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally right.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're onto something there. It's like maybe it just takes a lot of power to create consciousness. Because okay, so I was like I was philosophizing with these like people
Because
before.
you're not just it's not just the normal thing of like eating and doing things. We're also thinking like that's
Oh, I was
happening
yeah, for
throughout,
sure. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, totally, totally. Yes, for sure. The cognitive process to like just run day-to-day stuff. And you notice as well that if you have to compute something really hard,
Mm-hmm.
like if you're doing like math problems all day, or like I notice it when I'm designing, I'm like, oh dude, I'm freaking so tired
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I'm trying to problem solve something, you know, because you're using so much energy output.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. Like the more taxing it is on your brain, the more like energy you need. And that's probably why a lot of scientists are just like just living off of like Coca-Cola and candy. You know what I mean? Because they're like their
Right, right,
brain
right,
needs so
right,
much
right.
power,
And that
you
sugar is
know?
generally what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just like and I use caffeine, right? It's like,
Right.
okay, I need a stimulant to like make my brain power on. But it's like, yeah, the mental power is so exhausting, so we probably do need a reset period,
Mm-hmm.
which is why, yeah, you would sleep so long. And like if you bring like let's say you bring a dog out for a long walk, it's not just the
For me, if I
yeah,
don't have enough sleep, I'll get a headache.
yeah, facts, yeah, totally,
Right. Like
yeah, same,
it's telling you that you didn't get enough sleep. That's your
yeah, yeah,
energy
yeah,
levels are already low. You can't even function properly the next day.
yeah, 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 totally. It's so dependent on sleep,
Yeah.
and it's so funny because like without the CPAP machine, I would have never realized this because I'm like, holy crap, there's a whole world that I totally forgot about.
Right.
And it's funny because every time I go to sleep now, I pretend like I'm going to the avatar state because I have to put on the mask and like, okay,
Oh,
here we
true, true.
go.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like it's funny to me. And then like I'll take like the melatonin. I'm like, well, let's see how crazy we get tonight, you know? But it really is like it's a whole world that we didn't discover.
right.
Or you know what too? Like depressed people. Wait, let me finish my dog thought
Oh,
because
sorry. Yeah.
people listen. No, because people listen. Like, you were talking about dogs, but if you bring a dog out for when we were doing like pet training, they're saying that um, the walks are not only good for its body but for its mind. So
Mm.
if you want a dog to be like, if let's say you're going to go to work the next day, they said go out for a long walk with your dog. If you tax its brain and its body the next day, it'll just sleep the whole
Right.
day and it won't be anxious. And it's like even there, you know, like the cognitive requirement for the dog is so high that it's like, oh, I need to rest longer,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, yeah. Damn, I forgot my train. I lost my train of thought going to the dog thing. Uh, but yeah, the the world that we don't see is so fast. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So depression. You know when you're depressed and then people are like, oh, I sleep all day.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you hear that as a telltale sign,
Sure.
and it's almost like you don't want to be in this world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like what is that additional world that we're not tapping into? Like, what is this world? And then now with DMT studies, right? Because they know that we release DMT when we're like REM sleeping or whatever. Um, if you intravenously do DMT, they're like exploring that world now, which is like the dream state.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to see basically if they can make people meet up or like report back the exact same thing. And then they know it's a real world because it's like if you and I are observing the same thing in a world and we
Sure.
report the same thing, it's like, okay, so it must be real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it
Right.
takes two observers to know that something's real.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like with all of this crazy stuff on the horizon, right? Like you have UAPs, you have like DMT worlds, you have like the the crumbling economy, the truth about like sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what's coming. next? You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that we're like starting to hit, and it's like once you figure out, like let's say they're doing dream studies, which is not new either. So if you look at the Egyptians, they were doing that stuff all the time. They use the blue water lily, which is like high in DMT2, and they would just literally take it,
Mm-hmm.
wake up, write about what they're saying, and everyone would do that. That would be like their observational study.
Right.
So this is not like new to humanity. It's just something we forgot because of industrialization. We're like, oh, we're just going to. So like, what if we lost the plot about life and we created industrialization in cities as like a means to create comfort, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And then now we're just reverting back to the questions that we had now that we're comfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Egypt, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Egypt, people were chilling. So like, okay, in Egypt, we have time for you to like figure stuff out.
Right.
They were called the chemists because they were the chemists of
Mhm.
the world. People would go to Egypt to figure out science because
Right.
that's all they were doing. They were
Mhm.
just like autopsying people, like checking out the dream world. But we don't do that anymore. Now we're like, oh, that's pseudoscience. Oh, that's like fake. But it's like, what if you mirror science with the pseudoscience, and then you're just like able to figure out what's real or not? You
Sure.
know,
Yeah. 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 Right.
if you're the mystic and the scholar, then you're able to be like this is actually real. We use the scientific method to figure out that this is
Mhm.
a reality.
Yeah.
But the problem now is when people try and stifle that scientific inquiry. So what I mean by that is like if it doesn't fit into the preconceived box of what you think science currently is, it's automatically thrown out, which is what you're seeing with UAPs. Right? They're
Mhm.
like, well, it can't be real. We don't have the physics to build that, so no society has that. And then no scientist will look at it. Well, not no scientists, because there's a lot of science. Michio Kaku believes in them. He's like, yep, there's something there.
Right.
Right. So it's like, are we in a dark ages period?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, if you compare it to other
No,
dark
but
ages.
you know what I'm trying to say, though, right? Like, remember the Christian Crusades, and then they were like the Dark Ages because they just like burned all the books, and they're like, God is the only thing that's
Sure.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's not. That's not what's happening. I think it's just more.
Right.
It is meant to be. They're generally a skeptic.